So welcome to the final episode of the Starfather Path, the longest series that I've done in almost 2 years. We're going to form the guardianship of Lombet out of the llama puppet that our former enemy controlled, and we're dealing with that former enemy now. Oh, look how happy they are to be subjugated by the Ascendancy. Very nice. My strategy is to make a lot of super heavy tanks. I don't know if this is the best idea, but I don't know how else we're going to defeat the Empire. We'll also need Amtraks, presumably. We're gonna need everything. Nukes, definitely. I guess we will go ahead and declare on Makawia avians? Oh no, they have a bigger army than us. How? They're just some random island nation. We control the entire north and they have more fielded manpower than us. This is gonna be terrible. This final episode is gonna be the nightmare episode. Also, now with the journey done, we can make the final 3 alchemical super projects, or do the final 3 alchemical super projects to make these things. And we get the essence of endurance plus 5 flat maximum organization, but we lose some recovery rate. Interesting. And that kind of contrasts to the essence of loyalty, which gives us flat recovery rate, and then we lose a percent division organization. But overall, those are both good, and when combined, it's just a huge positive. Vespers of Invincibility, minus 10% division strength, but plus 15% division recovery rate. Interesting. That's kind of middling. I don't know if that's a purely amazing advantage, but it leaves us with only 1 alchemical super project left, and there's only 3 ingredients, so it'll be easy to figure out. So we're going to do this, try our luck at fighting these guys. We should be fine considering that we have more military factories than them. A lot more, 10 times, but they have a bigger army somehow, so I don't know what to think. I have made my super heavy tank template. It has over 1,000 defense, an 800 breakthrough. I think we should be fine with this thing. Either way, we'll see if we can actually land or if we have to keep building more Amtraks. I have a separate Amtrak division. We'll see what happens. I guess I should put my spies here so we can get an intel advantage. We at least have a much larger arsenal of planes, so we'll have air superiority and a lot of CAS. For the Empire though, we're not gonna have any sort of advantage. And 4 of these guys are done, so I guess we can test them out, see if they are as good as they seem. For super heavy tanks, they at least have decent movement speed. And here it is, the Primeval Magic Crystal, the last of our collection. This makes the collection process of crystals from the bodies of our enemies twice as efficient. Because yeah, as we defeat enemies, I guess, we get crystals and Carthage. And see all this steel, this 1400 steel, it's just crystals that I've changed into steel, but we'll change them back to crystals eventually. We can also use crystals to make nuclear weapons too. So we'll do this Terminus Est focus, get some 300% research bonuses for nuclear technology, and finish off researching that. Okay, with Marines and Amtraks, we were easily able to land here, and now I think I will bring some super heavy tanks over. I'll send some Amtraks and Marines back, and I'll send the super heavy tanks in, and they should be able to plow through everything. I guess there are a lot of hills, but might as well try to get some good traits on them for attacking into hills. Might not even need the super heavy tanks. These Marines seem to be doing just fine. We secured their main island, and we just have to take this victory point to capitulate Avian Brazil, but that's perfect. We will finish this focus, and then we're only left with 2 focuses left. Took some of their islands off their coast. Avians are going to be kind of unstoppable for now. Well, kind of unstoppable, I say, because we do have nukes. So yes, we can drop a nuke on this one tile where they have 20, 30 divisions. That should do quite a bit of damage. We've used the world's first nuclear weapon, firmly placing us in the lead of the current arms race. Good, yes. We'll move the strap bombers away for now. We'll only move them back once we have another nuclear weapon to use. It's gonna be a long, long fight. I have the best prepared army imaginable. They've lost like 8 million manpower already, but I forgot to make trucks. I can't believe this is such a stupid oversight. Also, I think we have enough resources in our capital that if we convert them all to crystals, we can do our final focus. Should we do it? Should we wait until the Griffonian Empire capitulates? I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of waiting, but if whatever Transcendence does helps us defeat the Empire, that would be welcome, though the Empire seems to be falling anyways. We haven't actually lost that much manpower and we're actually gaining manpower. But yeah, we're going to do a naval invasion all the way around to Pridea and maybe open up a new front and confuse them more. They actually don't have a terrifying amount of deployed manpower anymore, really. Especially after we've used probably 40 nukes and they have so many divisions on every tile. The sad thing is though, I think Rumer caused more manpower losses to them, but Rumer finally capitulated. They were just surviving on this island right here and they were attacking into it forever. It's kind of sad, but they lost a lot of manpower. Unfortunately, when they lose manpower to Rumer, we don't get like crystals from enemy casualties. So I've encircled their entire front line twice now in the south, used a lot more nukes, though we can't really use them right now because we don't have air superiority. We also landed completely unopposed, kind of near their core Herzland territory, I guess in Aquilia, a little bit south of that. So I switched almost my entire army into the heavy tanks, and now the heavy tanks are using the new, better heavy tank models that I made with the improved super heavy tank chassis. So now we've been overrunning every division just on battle plan. We still aren't winning the air war, but I feel like that doesn't matter if they don't have an army, because every time they deploy a division, it just gets overrun. This is the only way to really do anything in like KMEAW is just make a massive tank army. I think super heavy tanks aren't the meta, but they work against the AI. And now we'll do some projects, explorations, colonizations. I think it's time that we finish this off. I think this is the end. Maybe it's not. Hopefully it is. The center of Carthage was a grand sight to behold. Thousands of focusing crystals had been refined and shaped into perfection. An elaborate mechanism had been constructed to align them all towards a singular platform adorned with the Ascendancy symbol. And upon that platform stood a single zebra, Hiram Zeranin. Hiram looked out at the small crowd gathered around him. His grand masters, equines of gold such as Jazala and the Guide, and a few other respected subordinates stood a short distance away from him. Some looked apprehensive while others displayed frisson. Everything that they had worked towards led up to this moment here and now. Before Hiram were 8 pedestals adorned with banners displaying the exotic potions he had crafted with the aid of his trusted guide. Now we went through a lot of efforts to get all that stuff. He approached the pedestals, then turned to face his audience with a kind smile. I would like to say that what we've accomplished thus far is truly extraordinary. In the beginning, we were aiding the poor and sick. Then we were cleansing this world of evil. Now we stand at the precipice of our grandest moment yet. It's hard to put into words exactly how thankful I am to all of you. Truly, I want you to know that none of this could have happened without you all, your sharpened skills, your brilliant minds, your unwavering faith. And now, Hiram paused, grabbing a potion with his hooves. Let us begin. He guzzled down the first potion, then quickly moved on to the others before the effects kicked in. As he finished drinking the last one, he heard the crystals power up. He took a deep breath, then closed his eyes as the crystals activated. First, there was darkness, and then, like a storybook unfolding, the world came into creation. Mountains and valleys, plains and desert, everything formed over an eternity, and in an instant, creatures appeared from nothing, from each other, from deities. There were wandering families, tribes, primitive societies. There were monsters spawned from goats, while the lesser races fled in terror, and Hiram frowned. What is this? There were goats. Yes, goats, practicing magic beyond anything he had seen before. They ruled over the other races, nearly all of them. His kind, the equines, were subservient. But this wasn't the truth that he knew. He tried to turn away to flee, but he could not move. He saw a glowing sphere approach him, one with a goat's eye staring deep into his soul. The sheer malevolence in it was incomprehensible. He tried to scream, but he realized that he no longer had a mouth. He was a slave, and they were his masters. This was the ultimate truth. I was wrong. It was the Capra, not the avian. What? Wait, so are there like evil goats? The energies and forces at work were breathtaking to witness. The focusing crystal spun and shook with such intensity that some thought the entire place was going to be ripped apart in a magical maelstrom of untold proportions. The equines of gold, the guide, and the grandmasters watched as Hiram was slowly lifted into the air, all while the energy from thousands of crystals was being channeled into him. A bright white aura seemed to surround him as ripples in the air began to appear, almost as if the very fabric of reality itself was being torn asunder. Suddenly, a flash of light appeared from Hiram's chest, one that was so bright that it temporarily blinded those watching him. When they recovered, they saw that Hiram was no longer present, though the ripples in the air seemed to permeate all throughout the central square of Carthage. As the mechanism powered down, there was silence. Did it work? One equine of gold asked. None answered him. Jazala blinked a couple times and raised her hoof, gesturing to the ripples. Look around you. Of course it worked. The Star Father has ascended and seized the mantle of the Godhead. He has transcended beyond mortality and escaped the cycle of life and rebirth that has trapped equines in the material world. He will fight Zalmar in the immaterial world, and once our souls pass from our mortal coil, we too shall join him in eternal glory. There was brief hesitation among the equines present, but they soon nodded in assent. Of course Hiram had ascended. The ripples in the air were proof of that. The material world had to be damaged in order for him to break free of it. We must rejoice, cried Jazala, rallying the others to her side. The Godhead has been restored. Send word to everyone, everywhere. We have accomplished our ultimate goal. The others joined in her cheers, then began to make preparations for a grand celebration of what had occurred in Carthage today. All the while, a single zebra discreetly excused herself and made her way out of the city. So we're now led by the Godhead. A normal horse? Finally, we do the most complicated long path in the mod just to unlock a normal horse. A truly blessed day. What exactly happened though? Did he like go back in time and see that in like the ancient past there was some ancient goats that were subjugating everybody and that were all powerful? Or is this like some extra dimensional goat thing that's happening? This can't be the end though, there has to be more. The aftermath. Somewhere on the outskirts of a village far away from Carthage, a lone zebra was sitting next to a tree. The sky looked like it was about to rain, though she didn't pay any mind to that. Instead, she was deep in thought about what had occurred over the past several years. The guide remembered when she had first met Hiram back in school, how shy and bookish she had been, though he was passionate about his hobbies. They had become friends, so he decided to introduce her to his club, and then she looked up as she heard thunder rumble in the distance. Hiram was gone, probably. She silently wondered if he had actually transcended or if he was just dead. There had been no word, nothing from beyond the material world. She did slightly alter the positioning of the focusing crystals, but she had a feeling it wouldn't have changed the outcome at all. As the first droplets of rain began to fall from the sky, the guide realized something. She did not believe that the Ascendancy's goal was worth the cost. Yeah, it would have been nice if she realized that a long time ago when she was staring off into the sunset with that buffalo, but apparently that didn't really do much for her. So many equines had died, and for what? There was no way for them to know if Hiram succeeded. The Ascendancy just believes that he did, and the avians, she reshoved down to her pouch, retrieving the photo given to her by that innkeeper. She sighed. Could what Zethro have said be true? That it was possible for an avian to be good? Something to explore later. Much later. If there were any avians left, that was. The guide thought back to what that wretch, that Pegasus, had said to her. Elishat and Zethro died for nothing. She sat on that memory for a while. I'm sorry, she said to the open air. The guide hadn't bothered to find the student's real name. Maybe the student had been right about her. In a way, the guide wondered if she was still alive, somehow. It wasn't like she could try to find the student. The guidance had abandoned her. Hey, miss, called a voice to her left. The guide turned her head to see a young filly, a unicorn, running towards her. She was levitating 2 umbrellas. The rain is gonna pick up. Here, take this. With a tired smile, the guide accepted the umbrella. Thank you, little one. What's your name? Kala Lily. What about you, miss? What's your name? The guide thought on her question, then said, my name is... That's the end. What happened though? I kind of hope I understand more of what happened. And when I'm editing the video, listen to myself read that event again. Like, were the goats the real superior race? Or were they the real, like, evil? I guess, you know, it doesn't really matter. I don't know if anybody will make a Hearts of Iron 4 mod path that's as crazy as this again. I hope you enjoyed this once-in-a-lifetime experience. I know I did. I'm still very confused with what happened. What is the guidance? Or is it really just the supernatural force leading her to execute the Starfather's plan, which was all done in vain and technically void? So what was the guidance? Was it just like her subconscious? And what's up with goats? Anyways, that's all. I think I'll do my best to forget all of this, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.